No.
The only way to pursue peace is to pursue those who threaten it.
What? What about negotiation? Too many syllables for King George? I mean, is this any way to win a war on terror? There's no way we're ever going to win a war on terror. As you know, Israel's been fighting a war on terror since the second of their birth. Have they won? Has Great Britain won their war on terror in Northern Ireland? And yet here's Bush and his cowboys thinking we could take on the whole world and somehow win the war on terror. Less and less allies, most hated president in history, spilling down even to American tourists, getting shouted at and spat at in Europe and other places. Geez, I wonder why. Which even hit the USA Today in this hilarious article. Oh, Yankees stay home. Oh, how dare they accost us about our evil president overseas. Well, their solution, tips for blending in. Do not frequent American fast food restaurants. But one of them. And do not talk loud in bars, since Americans tend to be louder than their hosts. Was another one in there. But anyway, I mean, very, very isolated. And all Bush had to say is,
Well, someday we may be the only ones left. That's okay with me, because we're America.
what does that mean? I think it would be a little more constructive to admit to the world, okay, we made a terrible, terrible mistake here, and we are terribly, terribly sorry. We're getting out of Iraq now. Not a 6-month timetable, now. And not just end the military occupation, but the economic occupation now. Iraq is not ours to sell. Best way to leave? Same way we came in. Ships, trucks, and airplanes. Boom. Done. We're going to get run out of there at some point anyway, just like in Vietnam. It's only a matter of time and a matter of how many lives. In Vietnam, it took 57,000 American deaths before we finally got it. Hope it doesn't come to that this time. We do owe the Iraqi people help and have a responsibility to clean up the mess we made, and that goes double for Afghanistan, but it doesn't mean sending more troops into the desert as rent-a-cops for Exxon and Halliburton. It means letting the UN or the Arab League or somebody the Iraqis are more comfortable with run the show. We help them, not we police them, not we privatize them. We help them, and we take and follow orders from the respected neutral party in charge. And the oil revenue should be shared with each Iraqi citizen starting now so they can get their economy back on their feet. I mean, the leading cause of terror isn't evil, it's poverty. It's globalization. As Michael Moore puts it, will we ever reach the point that we will be more secure when the rest of the world isn't living in poverty so we can have nice running shoes? Yeah. So, how do we keep ourselves from being dragged any further down the road to ruin and off a cliff and down the toilet by a Bush, a Dick, and until recently a colon? And now a harpoon, it sounds like, or something too. Prime Minister Harpoon. Well, I'm hoping this whole anti-war and anti-Bush groundswell, and one thing I forgot to mention earlier that kind of torpedoes this whole red state, blue state division myth, is showing a majority of the studies, polls by universities and networks and the Pew Research Foundation and others show that, Americans by a 2/3 majority want people out of Iraq. They think that people should have universal health care like they have up here, minimum wage raise, impeach Bush, 54% want a third party, etc. I mean, in other words, we're not alone here. And resistance, as horrible as times seem to be, we shouldn't let it turn us into becoming really miserable people, and the only way to devote yourself to any kind of resistance is a struggle of the proletariat against the big, bad, fascist pigs. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to have meetings, God damn it. Doesn't have to be that way. Of course it's work, it's dangerous, and takes plenty of time, and resistance should be fulfilling, resistance should be fun, resistance should be Dick Cheney kills kittens. I mean, so far I haven't heard of any really good pranks against this war, like Gulf War #1, where there was some great ones. There was one in San Francisco where someone who shall not be named put up flyers all over town announcing a general strike to protest the war, and listed the sponsors as Joe Montana, the star quarterback of the football team, Bill Graham, monopolistic rock promoter, Herb Cain, venerable old columnist of the San Francisco Chronicle newspaper, all kinds of people like that. And what that meant is then the corporate media reporters started calling up those people. What are you doing signing on to sponsor for the general strike? Oh, I don't know, is that a new pass play or something? Which then led you turn on the 6 o'clock news, there's the news lady. Joe Montana denied today having anything to do with this flyer seen around San Francisco proposing a general strike, which gets the concept and possibility of general strike into everybody's living rooms. There's another great one in Fort Worth, Texas, where a couple people, I think they were teenagers actually, printed up flyers saying to protest the war at such and such a time in the square downtown, this date, we will kill our pets. And sure enough, the time comes, all the news trucks and the camera crews are there, people are taking time off of work, costing their employers valuable company time, all hanging out, waiting, 2 kids wandering incognito, just watching everybody waiting, wasting all afternoon, waiting for somebody to show up and kill their pets. I thought that was a pretty good one. But don't let the more radical than thou ever convince you that if you're not doing all they're doing to fight corporate power or the war machine, or not doing exactly what they're doing, you might as well not even try. Wrong. Doing something is better than doing nothing every time. There's things you can do as an individual, even if you don't want to wind up getting your head cracked at demonstrations or sitting up till dawn arguing about anarchy or whatever. There are all kinds of things you can do, both up here and down there, starting with, if you want to, just making a little vow to yourself, I'm not cooperating with corporations or their agenda anymore. They can't have me. Starting with, don't give them your money anymore. No more money to chain stores, no more money to chain restaurants. Keep the money in the local businesses that keep the money in the community. And above all, and this is starting to catch on a little bit overseas and here, even though here I am hawking myself and my American products, maybe it's time to cut down on buying American products, just to try and stick it to the man that way, too. I mean, I'm down with insurrection in the street, I'm down with insurrection in the voting booth, can't get much change without both, but you also need insurrection in the wallet, too. And even in the local businesses, start keeping track maybe of how many products you might be consuming made by global corporate predators, and ask yourself how many of them you really absolutely have to have.